Porn is destroying your masculinity. That's the title of today's video, and that's the topic we're going to go through. There's an article I read online with that very same title, which comes from a website called Order of Man. There's a lot of gems, a lot of wisdom you can extract from that website because they go through different topics in regards to self-improvement and masculinity for men. So I definitely encourage all you guys to take a look. Now, I will have the article linked down below in the video so you guys can take a look. And especially if you're a guy who's struggling with porn, you find yourself always masturbating, always watching this online content, and you want to change, you want to improve, you want to break away from that addiction, definitely check out this article because it will help you out. You see, in order for you to call yourself a real man, you must be in total control of your life. You must master your feelings and your emotions. Okay? When you make a decision, it must come from your logic and your reason, not from your feelings and your emotions. And you see, if you are not in control of your lust, of your desire, it will control you and it will lead your life. Okay, you must have total mastery over your emotions. And that takes discipline, right? It takes practice and focus. But in order for you to become a masculine man, you must get that done. Or else you're always going to be at the whims of lust, of sex, of your feelings and emotions, of your primal desires. A man that has discipline, he's not controlled by lust. He makes decisions when he's peaceful, when he's relaxed, when he's calm, using his rationale and his logic, thinking with this head, not the head down there. That's what you men must understand. Because if you look at the effects on porn, of long-time porn users, it ruins your mental health, your physical health, and your ability to form healthy attachments and relationships with women. So eventually it will ruin your life. So if you're watching this video and you're struggling with an addiction to pornography, I really hope this helps you out. So with that said, let's get right into it. So the article was written by J.K. Emezi. That's the guy's name. He says, porn is destroying your masculinity. The desire for sex is by far the most lucrative, sought after and abused desire of all. The internet is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it has revolutionized our world, allowing man to communicate, gain knowledge, save time, and entertain himself in ways that our grandparents could only imagine in their wildest fantasies. And I think that's a big problem. You go back a few generations, when men, viewed pornographic material, it was just magazines or pictures. I mean, now with the internet, it's been amped up to the point where it's just become a complete and total perversion that is poisoning the minds of men, both young and old. On the other hand, it has become a conduit for some of the most primal desires and emotions we have as humans. Technology has also led many, especially the millennial generation, to become absolutely dependent on it to fulfill these emotions. Of all the desires that the internet fuels, the desire for sex is by far the most lucrative, sought after and abused desire of all. I agree with that. I think that's a very, very true statement. Very well said. Pornography is the king of the internet. Sad to say. The porn industry leads in revenue, with yearly revenues outgrossing global corporations, marketing, pioneering, setting the pace and writing the rules of digital marketing and product innovation. Any sexual desire that a human being can have, the porn industry can and will fulfill. And this is why pornography is so dangerous, because you start watching it when you're a young guy. At first, you're kind of disgusted by it. You keep reviewing the material. You become accustomed to it. So you become desensitized to it. And therefore, you need to watch more graphic more hardcore material to get the same dopamine fix, which changes the rewiring in your brain, which damages your mental and physical health. That's why porn is so dangerous. It's not real. It's fake. Now, I did a video a while back talking about how pornography causes low self-esteem. Definitely check it out. One of the most unfortunate byproducts of internet pornography is its debilitating effects on men. I spent 13 years of my young adult life addicted to pornography. While I didn't watch it every day, I estimated that I spent over 20 hours a week on it. You know, I watched porn between like 14, 16, 17, and eventually I quit, right? It was a struggle for me, but I did. And I'll tell you what, I'm very, very happy that I did, because it takes a while for your body and your mind to recover from all of that content, because it's really bad for your soul as well, guys. And obviously this guy here, he spent 13 years addicted to it, and some men even more. These days, as an addiction recovery professional, I spend triple that amount of the time each week working with men who are hooked on porn. Some as young as 16, while others are in their 60s and still unable to get off pornography. See how you can form an unhealthy attachment to something, because it's an addiction. It's a habit. You are what you do repeatedly. That's why it's so damaging. Make no assumptions. This is not a small subsection of men. There are literally thousands of men who struggle with quitting porn once it takes over their lives. While they are from different generations, all of them agree on one thing. A habit of consuming pornography online, once developed, it's almost impossible to quit. That's why when you are struggling, when you're an addict, look at what happens when people who go to rehab because they're alcoholics, or they abuse cocaine or meth. What happens? They need rehabilitation from an external source to come and help them, rebuild them, because they are too weak to do it themselves. Which is why sometimes seeking a professional or looking for help outside of yourself is beneficial, especially when you don't have the willpower or the strength because you're so damaged. That's why it's so important to help others. For a lot of men, it is impossible to quit. Very true. In my practice, I've noticed that the young men aged 16 to 35 who were full-blown porn addicts, spending more than 12 hours a week on pornography, had no concept of what masculinity was. And these guys grow up to be more effeminate. They tend to date more promiscuous women. They have no standards. They don't know what they're looking for in a relationship. Okay, you see all these women on porn, sleeping with all these different men, so you become conditioned to think that's cool. I should go for a woman that slept with all these partners, even though deep down you feel disgusted by it. But because you're desensitized to it, you date those type of women. And then she cheats on you. And you find out she slept with all these men. And you don't know why she did what she did. Pornography, it will destroy your standards, your principles, it will demoralize you, it will destroy your sense of self, your self-esteem. And just like he said, these men who were addicts between 16 to 35, they had no concept of what masculinity was. Masculinity is direction, it is challenge, it's having a purpose in life. Okay, a masculine man, he is in control of his emotions. He's strong, he's confident, he's stoic. He protects others. He's a leader. He's happy and fulfilled. Okay, he grows his masculinity through challenge. He always pushes himself to improve, to achieve, to become successful. And when you're always masturbating, watching porn, you're releasing all that dopamine, you're lowering your testosterone, your energy, you become weak. Which is why it turns men from masculine into feminine. Makes you weak. So bad for you. He said, when probed for an answer, their role as men in society was non-existent. At best, their main measure of manhood was how many women they could hook up with, or the most attractive women they could get into bed. What did I just say about you having no standards when you're watching porn? You watch this content where you see all these women and they're getting railed by all these different dudes, and you begin to think it's cool. At first you might be disgusted, but then once you watch thousands and thousands of videos, all these different hours and hours and hours of content, you begin to think it's normal. And that becomes your standard of what you should look for in a woman. Therefore, you go out, you start dating these females, and what do? You go to the clubs, you go to the bars, you start picking up these easy women, girls that sleep with you right away, women that are easy women, damaged, ran through, women that, have a high body count. And then you wonder why those relationships fail. And then you're going to cry and moan on the internet that all women are the same. Nah, you just keep dating the same type of woman because you have no standards. If you were a man who was masculine, you had principles and you had a high self-esteem, and you were looking for a good woman to add value to your life, you would choose a feminine woman with integrity, as I teach. A woman that either comes from a good family where there was a strong father figure, or at the very least a woman who did the work on herself if she came from a broken home. A woman who does not drink and smoke, who goes out to the clubs and gets railed. A woman that embraces her femininity, not reject it. Okay? A woman that knows how to look up and respect you as a man. A woman that isn't emotionally screwed up. Okay? A woman that is mentally sane. Loving, giving, caring, nurturing. A woman with a low body count. Okay? The fewer the sexual partners, the better. Those are the things you want to look for in a woman. Those should be your standards. Okay? Conservative, traditional women. That's what you should be looking for. But when you only watch pornography, that's where you're learning or where you're educating yourself in regards to sex. And what are you seeing? You're seeing men and women being promiscuous. You're seeing men and women sleeping with all these different guys. So you see these women, these girls, give themselves man after man after man after man, and that becomes your standard. You don't know any better because that's where you're getting your idea of masculinity from, which is flawed. Okay, if you watch porn, that's just lust. It's just perversion. It's a damaged type of masculinity. It's not real masculinity. Because there's no honor in that. There's no standard in dating a woman that's been ran through. Okay, if you're a man that values yourself, you would feel disgusted at the thought of a woman having slept with that many men. And if it doesn't disgust you, you need to really rethink you need to reevaluate your values. Okay? Because you do not compromise on principles. If you do not have any for yourself, women will always walk over you. Your friends will walk over you. Business partners in career, everybody will take advantage of you because you don't have standards for yourself. And that's really what it comes down to. I'm going to read through that section again because it's very well said. When probed for an answer, their role as men in society was non-existent. At best, their main measure of manhood was how many women they could hook up with, or the most attractive women that could get into bed. Well, if you're just hooking up with women casually, the types of women you're hooking up with are low, not good quality women. Because only a woman that has a low self-esteem, daddy issues, or who is promiscuous is going to spread her legs for you right away. And then you think you're cool. Now you're not. You're just dating the town slut. That's really what's going on. If you think that makes you a man, how many women you sleep with, you need to slap yourself in the face because I can't do it for you. And wake up. That's not what manhood is about. And if you're dating trashy women, you're a trashy guy. Okay? You are what you do. If that's the standard for your life, then that must be who you are. And if you don't want to be that type of man anymore, then it's time to change. Please use your head, guys. Let's carry on. A little rant there. I had to get it out because it's very important for men to understand, especially young guys who didn't have a father figure, a guy who grew up where there was just a single mother. When you aren't taught what masculinity is or how to embrace it, you're going to default to being feminine. It's unnatural for a man to be that way. You'll be much healthier mentally, physically, spiritually, being masculine. It's how God intended you to be. And masculine energy grows through challenge. And I'm challenging you to step up and be masculine. To start changing your habits, changing your lifestyle. Because that's how you're going to bring forth change into your life. Okay? If you have the willingness to change, then there's hope for you. Let's carry on. They had a rough idea of what masculinity entailed, but pornography and the habits associated with it had essentially erased the basic foundation of manhood for them. More alarmingly, porn was actually changing their brains and bodies for the worse. Very, very, very true statement. Our fathers never had to deal with high-speed internet and the easy access to porn. Today, most children are exposed to pornography by the age of 8, and many of them are hooked on it by the time they're 12 years old. If you're exposed to that at that age when you're supposed to be an innocent boy, running around playing football, maybe watching Scooby-Doo on TV or whatever kids watch nowadays, which I'm sure isn't good. I mean, back then we had like 1 or 2, 3 cartoons that you could watch and that was it. But kids should stay off the internet. Kids should be reading books. Okay, kids should be outside exercising, having fun, being with their family, being around other men, other boys, developing their masculinity. Kids should be in school, learning the basics, reading, writing, maths, history, being taught to think for themselves. That's what boys need, a masculine influence. And instead you got boys the age of 8 to 12 hooked on porn. So you're basically, that child has become an addict to perversion at an early age. No wonder men grow up and they keep dating damaged women, and then I get an email saying, she monkey bunched on me. I wonder why. Because you didn't know how to be a man, so you're attracting low quality women into your life. Because you have a flawed view of women. You see them just as a sex object. And then you're going to complain that that's the type of woman you date. I'm going to break down a few of the ways in which pornography erodes your masculinity. So now he breaks it down into different sections, which we're going to get into now. Also, before I carry on, I'm pretty sure you can hear birds chirping in the background. I can see through my window, different birds are out there by the trees. It's a very, very beautiful sunny day here in Spain. Hot weather. Alright, let's carry on. Porn leads to self-gratification. Delayed gratification is an essential skill to learn if one is to maintain control and direction in their life. Very true. Repeatedly giving into the urge to watch pornography leads to a lack of ability to delay gratification. Your brain becomes more and more focused on the things you find pleasurable, and the discipline of delayed gratification falls to the wayside. This is why a lot of men as well are needy in relationships. They have an anxious attachment style. They're a little bit too codependent. They're too relationship focused, because a lot of men haven't fully recovered from their addiction to porn. So even if you're in a relationship and you're faithful and you're loyal to your woman, your brain, your habits, you expect always an instant reply from her. You're always quick to, is she going to text me back? Why isn't she responding? It drives more of that neediness because you expect an instant gratification. You want something, you get it now. That has become your mindset. When to remain in control, sometimes you have to be patient and wait for something to come to you at the right time. Be relaxed. But that's what happens with porn. Your brain becomes more and more focused on the things you find pleasurable, and the discipline of delayed gratification falls to the wayside. It is no coincidence that men who are hooked on porn are usually underachieving in other areas of their life. Absolutely. Solution. Developing delayed gratification is one of the best gifts you can give yourself. This is a certain sense of superiority and confidence that comes with the realization that you have more control over your primal desires than the average man. Mastery of any worthwhile skill or habit leads to increased confidence. True, self-improvement. The ability to delay gratification is no different. When you look at really successful men, study all the different men in the Fortune 500 companies, guys that have built, multi-million and billion-dollar businesses, they have a few things in common. Either they have a military background, martial arts, or they were in some type of sport. Why is this important? Because when you're in sports, martial arts, or in the military, what are you taught? Discipline and focus. You're taught not to quit, you're taught not to give up, you're taught a routine. It sharpens a mindset built on strength, courage. They give you a set of principles and standards which will encourage you to push forward and be successful. But I also think there's another way. If you don't go to the military, or you don't play a sport, or you don't work out, which you should be working out, by the way, or you don't do martial arts, is challenging yourself to overcome difficulties. Okay? Every day. For example, getting rid of alcohol. I quit alcohol when I was 19. No fast food, no junk food, nothing. I do intermittent fasting 6 times a week. Okay, that has really sharpened my mind, kept me focused and disciplined. You want to do difficult things that will make you disciplined. You want to encourage and push yourself to break out of your comfort zone. And then you want to keep moving through that barrier of comfort. So when you try something new and you get comfortable, keep doing something new that is uncomfortable, so on and so forth. Keep challenging yourself, right, to grow. You don't want to go through life, you want to grow through life. I mean, that's something I've been doing since I was a teenager. It's really shaped my mindset from a very early age. So discipline and focus is what you need as a man. And when you're addicted to porn, alcohol, drugs, you have no discipline. You're going to be an underachiever. It's very true. So you must master a worthwhile skill or master your emotions by getting rid of those bad toxic habits and replacing them with good ones. I really, really like that section. Next one. Porn erodes your values. Video is powerful. We live in a world where we need to see something to believe it. And in our fast-paced, information-driven world, video is the preferred means of communication and information dissemination. The thing is, video has the power to influence and even replace behaviors in your mind without you being consciously aware of what you are seeing. For example, if you keep watching my content over and over again, you'll start to develop the same principles and standards and qualities that I have, because it gets into your subconscious. As you watch videos, your subconscious mind is rapidly dissecting, translating, and making sense of what it is being fed. I found that the subconscious mind translates and subsequently changes your behavior in one disturbing way. Pornography programs you to lower your standards sexually. What was I saying throughout the whole video? You keep watching porn, standards for women are going to keep dropping. And I don't want you to lower your standards. I want you to have high standards for a woman, because a man that values himself expects the best not only from himself but from those around him. Okay, a man that has a high self-esteem only chooses to place himself around good people, good friends, a good woman, not just anyone. You shouldn't give yourself to just any woman. Only a weak, pathetic man would do such a thing. It encourages you to seek sex and in some cases build intimate and unhealthy relationships with women who are willing to have sex without any boundaries. As exciting as that sounds, not to me. Having sex with any woman who's available is a sign of a man without too much discipline. I'm not even going to comment on that because he said it perfectly. There's nothing for me to add there. A man at some point in his life must have control over his sexuality. You should not be a slave to your sexual desire. Instead, you should master and control it. In addition to that, hundreds of hours of porn create certain expectations of what sex should look like. Now, he gives an example here which is pretty graphic, which I'm going to have to skip because of YouTube, but you can read it on the article. Solution: you are what you eat. If you eat processed sugary or junk food, you'll feel bad physically and eventually look like crap. Make a decision today to feed your mind only with material which makes you a better man. Here's the barometer for that. If you feel guilt or shame for watching certain material, consider that indigestion for your mind. Stop it. True. And the next one. Porn causes erectile dysfunction. Virility is important for almost every man I know. The rise in porn-induced erectile dysfunction is something to be alarmed about. Frequent porn use leads to frequent masturbation and erections, which can increasingly only be induced by hardcore pornography. Porn viewing then becomes a sort of psychological conditioning which creates performance anxiety. I'm also not going to comment on that because he said it perfectly. Solution: need I say more? No man wants to kill their boner. If you love your penis and your erections, avoid frequent masturbation and watching porn. Definitely look into semen retention and no-fap, because too much masturbation, it will drain you from your testosterone and your strength. You will feel very relaxed and chilled. You won't have any get up and go. Very true. One of the simplest and most effective exercises for your penile strength and health are Kegels. There are plenty of resources online that train on how to perform these exercises. Well, you can look that up if you want, but definitely lower the rate of your masturbation and get rid of porn. Okay. The next one. Pornography leads to shame and isolation. Anything which you do in secrecy usually leads to shame. One of the first effects of frequent porn use on men, especially young men, is social awkwardness in public, which ironically leads to more shame. Isolation and shame make it very difficult for you as a man to share true intimacy with others, whether it's with other men, as your brothers and friends, or with women, as partners and lovers. That's why you get these incels, these basement dwellers, guys that are I'm socially awkward. It's like, because you're an addict to porn, you don't even see people as people, you see them all as objects. So you're not going to be able to interact in a genuine, honest way. And if, as a man, you can't be truthful in your interaction with others, you can't call yourself a man, because you're a fraud. Solution. Many men are already afflicted by shame, which is induced mainly by our society and religion. If you find that pornography use has dulled your desire to be social, I know how difficult it can be to jumpstart your social life. Thankfully, the internet can help. Social sites like meetup.com and dating sites are a great way for the former porn hermits to begin meeting people again. I do not recommend that. The long-term goal would be transitioning to building healthy relationships and bonds with other men. Yeah, because to build your masculinity, you need to be around other masculine men, because you pick up on their habits, on their lifestyle way of being. But forget about dating apps and things of that nature. You're much better off interacting with women in person. That's how you overcome your fear of rejection. You can start to master observing her body language. Okay? Because the more you go out there and the more women you talk to, you're going to become more confident. You're going to become more relaxed in your speech. You'll be centered. Okay, your body posture, your body language is going to be more relaxed. Again, you're going to overcome your fear of rejection, and you will start to look at the woman's behavior. You will start to look at the different cues of interest, different choosing signals. Is she smiling? Is she playing with her hair? Is her body open to you? Was she closed off? Is she looking away? Was she looking at you? Is she blushing? Is she asking you questions? Or is she kind of looking away, almost begging her friends to come in and save her from you? So you'll also master your ability to study a woman's body language by actually going out and interacting with them in person. Don't even do anything online. Just in person, in the flesh is much better, because that's when you can really see if a woman's into you or not. Let's carry on. Porn destroys your ability to achieve goals. In my practice, I've never met a man who was hooked on porn that was good at goal setting. As I stated earlier, most men who abuse pornography usually struggle in their finances, relationships, and careers. It's no coincidence. The aforementioned self-gratification is a habit which cannot coexist with achieving worthy goals. Men don't schedule pornography viewing the way they schedule time to work on their business or complete projects. It's usually, I'm going to watch porn from now until my body shuts down section. Part of this is biological. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, chemical released by nerve cells to transmit signals to other nerve cells. It's a key player in the part of our brain responsible for reward, motivated behavior. Sex, eating tasty food, getting approval, all trigger the release of dopamine. The more often you watch porn and masturbate, the more often your brain is flooded with dopamine. You slowly become desensitized to its effects and need more stimulation to feel the rush or get the fix. So basically, you need to be viewing more hardcore material to get the same fix, like a drug addict or an alcoholic. They have a few drinks, next thing you know, it's the whole bottle. Then it's a bottle and a half, then it's 2 bottles, or more, so on and so forth. People that do cocaine or heroin, I'm sure it's the same thing. They start off with small doses, they become used to it, they're not getting the same fix, they need to up the dosage to feel that same level of dopamine. And in the process, they destroy themselves. The same thing with porn. This means that your reward circuitry is broken. This reward circuitry is crucial in achieving in achievements that are truly worthy in a man's life, such as contributing in a meaningful way to society, developing a highly sought after or marketable skill, building a family, building a business, competing in sports or in your career. Every man must have a purpose in life. Those are the founding bricks for being a man, for being masculine. You must have a goal, you must have direction in life. Something that's bigger than you that you're working towards. Product or a service or both that adds value to society. Something that you're good at, that you're proud of, that you love, that you're passionate about. Solution. The simple solution to do this is to become a master of the to-do list and reward yourself. Every night before bed, write out a list of everything you need to accomplish the next day in order of importance. The next day, proceed to knock everything out on the list. Whatever is left, whatever is left over goes on the list for the next day. Yeah, so changing your habits to rewire your brain. The key is rewarding yourself for accomplishing tasks on your lists. Of course, this reward can't be porn, but it should be something you enjoy doing leisurely. Whether it's browsing self-improvement sites could be one, watching entertaining videos on YouTube, such as Relearning relationships. Use the activities that usually get in the way of your goals as rewards. Porn throws off your testosterone levels. It's the next one. Testosterone is absolutely essential to your health, sexual functioning, and general well-being. Here's the important thing to remember. Regular sex stimulates the release of testosterone, while masturbation does not. You feel happier, energized, and content with life after regular sex. On the other hand, masturbation combined with porn torpedoes your testosterone levels, leaving you drained and motivated and filled with the negative emotions of shame and guilt. Solution. It is my belief that if more men truly knew how essential testosterone was to them, they would quit masturbation and pornography for good. That's what I came to realize in my teenage years. Then I quit. I hope the following benefits of testosterone will motivate you. Testosterone gives you energy levels, increased self-esteem, self-control, strength and physical stamina, healthy metabolism, increased bone density, strength by aiding in the production of red blood cells in the bone marrow and the formation of blood. Testosterone is also essential to prostate health, liver function, memory, and concentration. If you've been struggling with a bad pornography habit and trying to quit to no avail, it may be time to take an honest look at your relationship with pornography. For any of you that are struggling, go read this article. I've had a few guys reach out to me telling me they've had these issues. What tips do I recommend? You got to do your own research. Okay, if you're willing to change, you got to take different steps to heal. But you got to be honest with yourself. You got to see porn as something bad. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That's where you can start. There are more ways that pornography erodes your masculinity, leaving you weak, confused, and unsure about your direction in life. And it is my mission to educate, guide, and if necessary, help you as a man to repair any damage that pornography has inflicted on you. That's the article, which I think is very interesting. And before I end the video, I'm going to leave you with one last thing. Just a few stats on pornography that might shock you into really seeing how bad it is if the article wasn't enough to convince you. 90% of children ages from 8 to 16 have viewed porn. The largest consumers of pornography are 12 to 17-year-old boys. Porn sites comprise of 12% of the internet. 70% of men ages 18 to 34 visit a porn site in a typical month. 1 in 6 women struggle with porn addiction. Does affect the ladies too. 10 to 14 billion is spent on porn annually. The same amount the US government spends on foreign aid. That's a shocker. 25% of search engine requests are for porn. 50% of pastors regularly look at porn. There's a lot of people in the church that really should not be in that position of leadership, but they struggle with things such as porn. It's a dark thing that affects a lot of people. I mean, to think that there's men, married men that have families, girlfriends, wives, children, and they're addicted to this, it's disgusting. Guys, it will taint your relationships. Look up Terry Crews. You know that big strong guy who was on the different commercials and ads? Go look him up, look at his testimony. He struggled with porn for many years. He nearly ruined his relationship with his wife, his marriage. And he went to rehab and he recovered from it. And he had a really screwed up childhood trauma. There you go. His dad was very abusive. He had no father figure. Again, you're raised by a single mum, you don't have a dad there, you don't have a father figure. You're going to struggle. You might fall into the category of men that are addicted to porn because of your upbringing. It's so sad to see the amount of men that are addicted to porn. It's just going to damage society even more. But you can change it around if you, as an individual, take accountability and have a willingness to change. 38% of adults say porn is morally acceptable. And this is the thing. Dudes are in relationships, they watch porn, and their girlfriend or wife is miserable, she's hurt, because in essence, if you're watching that in a relationship, you're emotionally cheating on her. Pornography will also is responsible for an increase of infidelity in men, because guys don't know how to control their lust. Very faithful guys, but you're addicted to porn. Even if you quit and you find yourself lusting after other women, it's because that addiction is still within you. It's still haunting you. You haven't fully recovered. And it can really ruin a relationship with a good woman. Because a woman with values, she'll walk away from a guy that's cheating on her or who wants to be with other women, or look at other women. And some of you guys end up very lonely and miserable, more shame, more guilt because of this. I'll repeat that. 38% of adults say porn is morally acceptable. I'd slap you upside the back of the head if somebody tells me porn is acceptable. Every second, 28,258 people view porn. Isn't that sad? Every minute, $184,000 is spent on porn. So these statistics were from Pastor Mark on study on marriage and porn and its effects. Well, guys, those are just some few stats I'll leave you with. And that's the topic for today's video. If you're struggling with porn, it's up to you. And today's topic was really to do with self-improvement. Because I know a lot of men struggle to control their lust. You live a promiscuous lifestyle, you're sleeping around, and then you're going to do a MGTOW channel crying about how all women are the same. There's good women and there's bad women. There's women with integrity. But if you as a man lack integrity, then you're going to keep attracting women that are just like you, have no integrity. And you can really damage your ability to connect on an emotional level to a woman if you're addicted to porn, because your standards are going to be like that. So if you really want to change your life, you must be in control of your emotions. Self-mastery, self-improvement. If you are not in control of your lust, it will control you. And it will damage you. The next thing you know, you live with regret. Because you wasted 10, 20 years, or however old you are watching, with this addiction. I challenge you to step up. And if you are struggling with porn, take the steps necessary to heal. Or you will never have a healthy relationship with a woman. Okay, you'll be broken. Okay, but that's between you and God disorder. Anyway, guys, that's the video for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. It's me, Christian from Relearning Relationships. If you would like to reach out to me and share your situation privately in regards to whatever, breakup, self-improvement, want some more information in regards to women, dating, relationships, feel free to reach out to me. The email will be in the description as well. I'll get back to everyone eventually, because I've been chock-a-block with emails recently. And I do have different topics in regards to monkey ranching planned out for a few videos as well, so don't worry. I know these topics are very popular, but this topic is the one today, how porn destroys your masculinity. So if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, comment down below your thoughts, what you'd like to see next. As always, have a good day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.